All right, guys, this is a swing bolt mortise lock, a very common lock found on storefronts. This is just the lock itself. This is usually inserted inside of the door, obviously, and there's your key and and lock. And then the swing bolt goes into the frame, which is usually about right there. There's a gap between them, obviously, to allow you to open and close the door, but kind of look like that. These are really nasty sometimes. If you're lucky enough to get a call out, if there's a broken key, you can usually extract the key and pick your way in. Not that big of a deal. By the way, these do come sometimes with Medico and Abloy, so that may not be an option. You need another option. These are also often pranked because they're in shopping malls and so forth, so kids tend to stick stuff inside of there or maybe even fill it up with crazy glue or epoxy or something. So the keyway may not even be accessible. When that happens, these are a bear to get through because you've got one choice, and that is to slide a saw blade between the lock and the door frame and cut through this. This is 5/8 of an inch of laminated, hardened stainless steel. Try to imagine how nasty of a job that's going to be. And on top of that, you're probably going to booger up the face of the lock. You're going to screw up the door with the saw going in and out. And without a doubt, you're also going to put gouges in the door frame. So when you walk away, you're going to leave the customer with a lock with the swing bolt cut off, and then both his locks are destroyed, the door is going to be damaged, and the frame is going to be damaged. Wouldn't it be cool if there's a way to get into this within seconds? Well, there is. Sparrows just came out with something. But before I show that to you, let's talk a little bit about how this lock works so you understand how this bypass works, because we're not actually attacking this lock. So here we go. I'm going to turn it to the side here, and I hope I can get this thing to focus. You guys have seen the actuator on the back of locks before. There he is right there moving. When he rotates around, he hits that spring-loaded locking bar. There he is right there, just starting to move. And let me rotate him in front here so you can see what's happening. You see that little bar right there moving out of that locked position? That's all he does, is he pushes him out of that locked position. Once you've got him out of the locked position, the lock itself is pretty much open. It's free. The lock is no longer required to do anything. He's kind of hanging back there. The bolt will then slide free and you get it open. Until you want to lock it back up, then of course you take your key, you push him up there, and you force that little bolt back up into that locked cutout. Very, very cool mechanism, very simple mechanism. All right, now let's talk about the tools. Let me set it aside and I'll show you what Sparrows has come up with. They've come up with something called the long shot. Now it's almost an identical kit. You get one set, and I'm going to hold these so they're all aligned. I'm going to pinch the handles together. So you see we have all the hooks going off to the right side, and then you get another set with all the hooks going on to the left side. Now the hooks themselves are just basically 3 depths, and I'll be honest with you. I've been using this thing. I can't tell the difference. They all, for me, work equally well. It's got a little turn in it there, so it gives you something to hold on to when you're manipulating things. Why do you need left and right? Well, the door opens from 2 sides, so you need the hooks to go in different directions if you're going to put these little bends in it. They also throw in, with each set, these guys. There's no bend in it, and it's a multi-purpose tool. And I find this to be just as effective as the bent ones. But anyway, you get the whole kit for $27.50. Now back to the lock. Wouldn't it be cool to be able to open this in seconds and do no damage to anything? Let me clamp this up and I'll show you what Sparrows has come up with. All right, guys, I got that thing clamped up to kind of simulate it being inside of a door frame. It is locked, and I've gone ahead and taken the key out as well. I'm not even going to be monkeying around with the lock. We're going to completely bypass whatever lock they've put inside of this thing. Now let me show you how I'm going to do that. I'm going to attack this locking pin, and in this case, I'm going to use what Sparrows calls the right hand. Now you get left and right hand tools, and the hooks are designed to attack that pin from the bottom. So if you're attacking from the other side, obviously you're going to need a hook that goes the other way. So you get both. I'm just going to grab this guy. They all work, at least for me, identically, regardless of the depth of the hook. So let me just try the smallest one, I guess. Now what are we going to do? What we need to do is slide this tool up inside of there. We need to get behind that locking pin and get that hook around him, and we need to pull him down out of that little locking slot. And then, of course, pull him on around, and then we're going to completely unlock this bar. The problem is, how do we get into there? We've got to work through a really narrow gap because, again, there's a door here. We can't just slide him in very leisurely and go up in there and get him. We have to work it in from the front. And when I slide him in, he's going to go in, and then I'm going to rotate him up, and I'm exaggerating just a little bit. I'm going to rotate him up as far as I can until the shaft of the pick will strike that locking pin. Once it can't go any further, then all I've got to do is pull down. It'll pull him out of that locking slot and on around, and it'll unlock it. So I'm going to try to simulate this. I'm going to take this and slide him in from the front and show you how flexible this 10,000th material is. It's almost like tin foil. You don't need much of a gap. So if I slide him in there, once he starts turning around that corner, notice he just continues to slide right on in there. And I'm trying to keep this as realistic as I can. There just doesn't even have to be much of a gap at all between the door frame and the face of this lock to get this tool up inside of there. Now you're going to bend him, but at $27.50 for a set of them, I don't think that should surprise you. Then I'm just going to rotate him up again until the shaft strikes that pin. And then all we've got to do now is just pull him down. I'm trying to hold the vise here. Just pull him down and we get an open. Very quick. Notice how I bent that tool as he went around the corner, but it doesn't matter. I just straighten him right back. Wait for the next job. This is one of those few tools that will pay for itself the very first time you use it. Now let's talk about this guy. You get two of these guys, straight tools, no bend in them at all. I also have found these to be very effective. So it's almost as if you need only this tool. Again, same thing. I slide him in, I shove him around that corner. He's actually a little bit longer than those other ones as well. Just work him in there. I'm exaggerating again so you can see where the tip of that thing is. And I'm really, look at that, almost 90 degrees. Rotate him on around, he grabs a hold of it, and get an open. Yeah, I bent him, but hey, I got a spare. It comes with a kit. $27.50 from Sparrows. Be able to bypass any swing bolt mortise lock. Appreciate your time, guys. Stay safe. Stay legal. I know. I always forget the important stuff. The giveaway at the end, Bill. The giveaway. All right, nothing to it, guys. I have 2 complete sets. Each bag contains either a left or a right. So you get a complete set of the Sparrows long shot. All you got to do is go to that website. In the middle of the page is a big purple button or a band that says Weekend Giveaway. Click on it. Register. With a little bit of luck, you'll be one of the 2 lucky winners next weekend, drawn by my webmaster. As always, guys, I appreciate it if you would subscribe. Hit that thumbs up button. It always helps out with the metrics. And if you want to become a supporter, I would really appreciate that too. Thanks, guys.
LockLab, where the fun begins.